I caught her sneaking out of my apartment at m. She didn't look guilty, she looked irritated, like I had inconvenienced her by noticing. Her glare cut through the dim light as she snapped, "You don't own me. I'll be back when I feel like it." I didn't shout. I didn't demand an explanation. I just nodded once, silent, as the door closed behind her. She thought she was making some bold statement about her freedom. She thought she could treat my home like a hotel and me like the concierge. What she didn't realize was that with those words, she had just checked out for good, because when she finally decided to come back, she wouldn't find me waiting. She would find the one person she feared most, sitting on my couch, ready to teach her the lesson she had been running from her entire life. The sound that woke me that night was subtle, but rang the deliberate click of the deadbolt. It was 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I knew instantly that something was off. Her silhouette slipped from the bedroom, fully dressed, her bag in hand. At the front door, I caught her. "Going somewhere?" My voice was flat, steady. She froze for a moment, then anger overtook her fear. A classic deflection. "I don't owe you an explanation. You're not my warden." And then she delivered the line that ended everything. "You don't own me, Mark. I'll be back when I feel like it." The door closed. Silence followed. The ache hit, sharp and cold, but my instincts as a security consultant replaced emotion with action. A breach had occurred. My home, my sanctuary, was compromised, and threats in my world must be neutralized. First step: secure the perimeter. I logged into the control panel, revoked her key fob and entry code, changed the master settings. By 2:25 a.m., she was locked out of both the building and the apartment. Second step: strip internal access. Shared accounts, the phone plan under my name, streaming services, online orders, all passwords changed, all her access removed. Third step: the strike she would never expect. I thought about who she feared most, the one person whose judgment cut deepest. Her father, General David Miller, retired, 30 years in the military, a man who believed in discipline and accountability above all else. Maya had been running from him her entire adult life, moving across the country to escape his control. But she still relied on him financially, a truth she conveniently hid while bragging about independence. I had his number from a brief meeting last Christmas. At midnight his time, I called. He answered on the second ring, voice sharp, alert. "General Miller," he said. "Sir, this is Mark," I replied calmly. "Apologies for the late hour, but I believe you need to be aware of a situation with Maya." I told him everything, her sneaking out, her words, the end of our relationship, the fact she was now locked out and effectively homeless. I delivered the facts without emotion, like a report. He was silent for a long time. Then his voice came, heavy with decades of disappointment. "She's always been like this, running whenever things get difficult." "I understand, sir," I said, "but my home can no longer be her escape. She needs to come back to you." "What are you proposing?" he asked. "I'll pack her belongings. You come here and take her home. You're the only one she can't run from." Another long pause. Then, "When?" She said she'll return when she feels like it. "Likely in 2 or 3 days. Can you be here by Friday?" "I'll be on the first flight tomorrow morning," he replied, and the line went dead. The trap was set. Maya was out chasing her fantasy of freedom, completely unaware that her greatest fear was already on his way to collect her. She wasn't just losing a place to stay, she was about to lose the illusion she had been clinging to her entire life. Update 1. 3 days later, the support I've received has been a solid confirmation. A line was crossed that cannot be uncrossed. These last days have been a study in methodical execution. General Miller arrived Wednesday morning, just as promised. Even in civilian clothes, he radiated authority. We shook hands, and for a moment there was a silent understanding between us. Two men confronting the same problem from different angles. "I appreciate you handling this with a level head, Mark," he said, scanning my apartment, noting its order and precision. I'm just neutralizing a threat to my security, General, I replied. Together, we spent 2 days boxing up Maya's life. The process was cold, almost clinical. The general was efficient, unyielding. He sorted her clothes, her scattered art supplies, her unfinished projects with grim resolve. He unearthed things even I hadn't discovered: a showbox stuffed with maxed-out credit card bills, a diary filled with bitter rants about how stifling her life was, how she deserved more. He didn't react, didn't comment. He just packed it all away. As we worked, he told me about Maya's past, her rebellion against structure, her trail of failed jobs, unpaid loans, and the chaos she left behind wherever she went. The general had hoped I might be the one to ground her. I think she mistook your stability for a safety net she could jump from, rather than a foundation she could build on, he said, taping up a box of her shoes. He was right, Maya returned. On Friday afternoon, almost exactly 72 hours after she had stormed out, my security system pinged. The doorman was on the line. She was in the lobby, demanding access. I told him calmly, "She's no longer a resident. Do not let her up." Minutes later, my phone rang. It was her. I ignored it. Then came the texts, first furious, then confused, then desperate. "Mark, what's going on? The doorman won't let me upstairs. Why isn't my fob working? Did you lock me out? This isn't funny. Please, Mark. My phone's dying. I have nowhere to go. Just let me in so we can talk." I said nothing. I just sat in the living room beside the general, watching the messages pile up. Then his phone rang. "She's calling me now," he said, placing it on speaker. "Dad, something's wrong with Mark." Maya's voice cracked, frantic. "He's locked me out. Can you call him? He won't pick up." "I know, Maya," the general cut in, his voice solid as granite. "I'm in his apartment right now." Silence. Utter, crushing silence. I could almost see her face, the horror dawning as his words sank in. "What?" she whispered. "I'm here to take you home," he said firmly. "Mark and I have spoken. Your little vacation is over. The doorman will let you up. Come upstairs." He hung up. 5 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I opened it. Maya stood there, pale, disheveled, all her bravado drained. Her eyes darted from me to her father, who stood in the entryway with his arms crossed. The fight vanished instantly. The defiant, arrogant woman who had walked out 3 days ago was gone. In her place was a frightened child. "What is he doing here?" she whispered. "He's here because you're no longer my responsibility," I said coldly. "You told me you'd be back when you felt like it. You forfeited your right to live here. Your father has offered to take you in." Her face twisted. "You called my dad? You went behind my back? You had no right." The general cut her off, his voice commanding. "He has every right, Maya. This is his home, and you treated both it and him with zero respect. You've been living in a fantasy. It ends today. Your things are packed. We have a flight tomorrow morning at 0800. She tried everything, arguing, sobbing, begging. She turned to me, her voice trembling. "Mark, please. I was stupid. I made a mistake. Don't do this." "It's already done," I said flatly, pointing to the neatly stacked boxes. "Your new life starts now." That night, she stayed locked in the guest room while her father slept on the couch. The silence in my apartment was heavy, suffocating. She didn't come out. She didn't eat. She just sat in that room, finally a prisoner of the consequences she had created. The so-called free spirit was grounded at last. Update 2 weeks later. It has been 2 weeks since I drove Maya and her father to the airport. The silence in my apartment is no longer tense, it's clean. Its order restored. According to a brief follow-up from the general, the flight home was miserable. Maya sulked the entire way, hostile and uncooperative. Once back under her father's roof, reality hit. Her freelance career was dismissed as a hobby. She was given 30 days to find full-time work. She had a curfew. She was expected to cook, clean, and contribute. For the first time in her life, she was being treated like an adult and she was failing at it. She tried to spin the story to her friends, painting me as the villain, the controlling ex who locked her out and dragged her back to her father. It backfired. One of her closest friends, Sarah, the most level-headed of the group, actually called me. We all knew, Sarah admitted. She was seeing someone else. We warned her she was playing with fire. She does this, uses people for stability, then gets bored. Honestly, what you did was probably the best thing for her. Her words confirmed everything. Maya's betrayal wasn't a single lapse. It was a pattern, and the man she had been sneaking out to see, predictably gone. A bartender at some dive she frequented, nothing more than a thrill. He wanted no part of a long-distance relationship with a broke, unemployed woman stuck under her father's rules. Within a week, he stopped taking her calls. Meanwhile, my life has returned to normal, clean, structured, focused. I deep cleaned the apartment, selling the uncomfortable couch she had insisted on and replacing it with a timeless leather one. I landed a major new client, work that demands my full attention. The order is welcome. One final piece of business remained: the expensive laptop and camera equipment I had bought to support her design career. The general asked what I wanted to do with them. Sell them, I said. Use the money to cover the deposit on her last apartment. She never paid it. He was surprised. How did you know that? It's my job to know things, I answered. Tell her the rest is severance pay, every loophole closed, every last thread of her dependency severed. The final invoice was settled. Final update 3 months later. 3 months have passed. The seasons have shifted, and so has my life, entirely for the better. The chapter on Maya is closed, and the ending couldn't be more fitting. Through acquaintances, I hear bits of her new reality. She did get a job as order junior designer at a small agency, grinding out 9 to 5 under a strict boss. It is, by all accounts, her personal hell. The days of drifting between experiences are over. Her relationship with her father is strained beyond repair. She resents his control. He despairs at her lack of character. She is learning, painfully, that her means are far more modest than she ever imagined. She reached out once, a long, rambling email that ended up in my junk folder. Classic manipulation. Excuses, self-pity, declarations that she was finally growing up, pleased to talk. I deleted it without a reply. People don't change because circumstances force them. They change when they own their choices. And Maya still wasn't owning anything. The truth is, the most satisfying part of this ordeal wasn't the confrontation. It was the quiet, deliberate process of reclaiming my life. Revenge wasn't explosive, it was surgical. Identify the vulnerability, assess the threat, execute the solution. She thought power was in defiance, in sneaking out, in coming and going as she pleased. She never realized real power lies in stability, discipline, and self-sufficiency. I didn't need to yell or rage. I just needed to make one phone call. The natural order handled the rest. Now, I'm seeing someone new, an architect. Brilliant, ambitious, structured. Our conversations are about foundations, about integrity, about building things that last. When she stays over, she's there in the morning making coffee, talking about the day ahead. It's a partnership, not a sponsorship. Maya told people I ruined her life, but I didn't. I simply stopped letting her ruin mine. I opened the door, and she walked out. Her father was waiting on the other side, the consequence she had been running from all along. She once told me I didn't own her. She was right, but she never owned me either. And the moment she forgot that, the game was over. She just didn't know it. Now your entire script, parts 1 and 2, reads like a polished, suspenseful, professional narration, perfect for storytelling.